Well, good morning. At least for me right now. I truly hope that helped you. If you're new, that was your monthly energetic healing from moi. I'm Jenny Satori Davis, as you can see, and this is my channel, Jenny Satori Healing. I've been doing this for about 3 years on the public YouTube thingy, but I have been doing this kind of work for my entire life. It's not a brag, it's a thing, like we all have things that we do that we're good at, so to speak, and that we're passionate about, which is probably more important than being good. Uh, Although, when it comes to healing or abilities such as these, of course, you need validation. You we can't just go willy nilly because then this is not based in reality. If we're claiming to be a psychic, for example, but we're never correct, we never get validation from other people that what we're seeing or feeling or smelling is in fact relevant, then that's that's not something that you should claim you are. And it's the same thing with energy healing. Of course, this is my opinion, but there's a lot of people that throw the word energy around. It's kind of become a big buzzword where everybody, like I've said before, everybody's talking about energy. And then they're talking about how to send energy. I, in fact, had somebody, God bless them, because, they have their opinions, but they were like, oh, the correct way to send energy. And I was like, oh, are you an energy healer? Like, what have you done? How many people have you helped? You know, um, can we call them, you know, and see how they're doing? I know. But my point is, it's like people are, critical or claiming to be something they're not, as I've talked about many times on this channel. Um, and not just in terms of the spiritual industry, just in general being online. Excuse me, you could be anybody. But anyway, um, people have a lot to say, but they don't have a lot of substance to back up that saying, if that makes any sense. And I don't know why we led with this thing to tell you, but here we are, as usual. I did want to talk very quickly about the world. Oh my God. And it's like, excuse me, so many people, the pollen's coming in, by the way. We're getting warmer weather, and here I go, and it's all good. But there's a lot of people coming to me, and they're, distressed, upset about all these things going on. It seems like this is an infinite stream of chaos that just continues to go on and on in the world, especially, of course, over the last 3 or 4 years. And it's just coming and coming now, too, right now. And people are confused and people are scared. Uh, and rightly so. I never want to tell people that you shouldn't have a feeling. Like you should just be, oh, because that's like, that's even more troublesome in my opinion, when there are these people, here I go, who go around and say, I'm okay, I'm fine, this doesn't bother me. Meanwhile, they're just pushing it down, waiting for it's like a bottle of seltzer water, just shaking it up, shaking it up. What, You think it's safe, but that thing's gonna explode one day. No, no bueno. Yeah. So you're better off being honest and actually feeling your emotions than, you know, saying that you're fine and also telling other people that if you're not fine, there's something wrong with you, or the big one in this industry, you're not spiritual, you're not awakened enough. This is a gaslighting thing, in my opinion. People don't want to hear about your emotions because it triggers theirs. But that's not your job. It's not my job. I can be very blunt with what I have to say sometimes, especially on this. And I risk hurting people's feelings, or people taking it personal, or something like that. But it's not my responsibility. It's not my intention to hurt people, but it's not my responsibility to nurse, you know, um, others' emotions, or police them, or cater to them. I'm here to share some energy, and share the messages that I receive from my helping spirits, and from my conscious observations, and whether that resonates with you is up to you. But, here we are. So anyway, it's very important to first acknowledge these feelings and say, yeah, 1 + 1 is 2 right now in this world. Yeah. So if there's wars going on, yeah, and there's terrible earthquakes, hmm, and people are losing their lives, the normal equation, 1 + 1, follow me now, deaths and destruction and war equals 2, equals fear, sadness, anger, etc. That's normal. That's my point. It's normal. It's okay. Be with them. Be with those emotions, accept them for what they are, just like a person in your life. There are people who are sad, eh, as a rule, like in general, or there's some people who are happy all the time, and there's some people who seem to have a chip on their shoulder, they're angry. Um, yeah, sometimes they could rub us the wrong way, but in general, if you love them, you accept them, and you don't sit there banging heads, I hope not, trying to change who they are. So why would you try to change what your emotions are within yourself, and again, I'll go back to the idea that you're trying to effectively gaslight yourself then, which is probably the ultimate betrayal. So, in a nutshell, allow yourself to have those emotions. And if you have an emotion that doesn't correlate with the 1 + 1 = 2, where you have, like an indifference, or a joy about something, that's okay too. All right. I want to put that in there because we're all different, and we all have different ways of coping. It's like, some people go to funerals and they laugh. Yeah. Um, and that's their way of dealing with things. It doesn't make them wrong, or uncouth, or, you know, maladjusted. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But yeah, number one, just understand that it's okay to have these feelings, and love yourself through those feelings. Have compassion. It's so important. I think, we've heard this before, but it's really, really important that we should care for ourselves as much as we would care for others. Somebody's sad, you console them. When you're sad, perhaps you're not as forgiving, and that is an issue too. Yeah. So, with that being said, one last thing about this is that, and I've said this before, I'm a big believer in action. You know, um, let me give you as an example. Many, many years ago, you remember, like, there's these commercials, and it was like Sarah McLachlan with that really sad song, and it was about these um, sick animals, the like the ASPCA or whatever. And I watched it. Well, it would come on, and I would cringe. I would, oh my God, it breaks my heart. Oh, duh, duh, duh. It was so heart wrenching to watch. And of course, that was their point, you know. But what I did was decide to start contributing to the organization. And what had happened is that every time that commercial came on afterwards, after having become a member and contributing, I didn't feel as bad watching those images. Why? Because I knew I was doing something to help that and to change that. So my point is, if you're feeling upset about the world, which is a normal thing, as I said, right? Do something positive towards that situation. Now, it might not be money. If you don't have money, that's okay. You know, it might be a gesture even to your neighbor, because as much as your neighbor may not have anything to do with the war or the earthquakes or anything else, you're putting a deposit into the universe, a positive one. It counts in the balance of life. You know, it fills the positive cup. And that's what you want to do to feel better in this world, in my opinion, and in my helping spirit's opinion. I sure do appreciate you. Thank you so much for being in my community, being a part of my heart and my spirit as I share my little meanderings and so on. I am on Instagram if you haven't seen me at Jenny Satori Davis, and I will be back next month. I hope you have the best rest of your February. Mwah. Bye now.